Hi. When you're playing chess game, a lot of times in the middle of the game you have to decide whether the end game you can get by force, whether it's winning, drawish, or losing, so in order to decide whether you should go there or not. And lots of these end games are either pawn endings, bishop endings, rook endings, queen endings, and so on, or minor piece endings. But there are some end games where material is uneven. We would call them mixed end games. For example, queen versus rook, or rook versus knight, or queen versus two minor pieces, and so on and on and on. So those end games are just important. End games are just important to know as, you can say, maybe regular rook endings or regular pawn endings. They are very important to know. It's important to know not only how to play them, it's very important to recognize what they are. Is there a win, or is there a draw, or whatever the result may be. So let's start to look at some theoretical positions. White has queen and king, and black has rook and king, king and rook. Now, over 90%, maybe 95% of these positions are winning for white. Queen basically always wins against the rook. There's some very few exceptions are something like this, where maybe white king on d2, queen on d3, and black king on e6, rook on e5, and if black can play rook d5, then of course this position doesn't qualify as winning. But there are some little more subtle positions that are not winning. But first, let's see how we can win normal position king and queen versus king and rook before we get to exceptions. The way we do it, if we get the same position as... Hello. We're going to discuss today basic rook endings or the elementary rook endings. What should we know about basic rook endings? We should know that there are some positions that before you get to this ending are, in fact, a lot of positions are known, whether it's winning or it's a draw, it's a loss for you. So you have to know these positions before you get there. Now we're going to discuss these positions. What is the simplest rook ending? When one side has king, rook, and a pawn, and the other side has king and the rook. This is the minimal material for the rook ending. Now, there are some positions that are theoretically known, and result is kind of easy to predict because it's known already. Now, the positions that do not qualify as theoretically known should be played with the general rules of the ending. Now, we're going to get to this a little later, but first, let's discuss some basic theoretical positions which every chess player and any chess player has to know. And the rules are the same for GMs or for beginners. They all, if you are just past the beginner level, you have to know it. And it's going to stay with you even if you are on your way to World Championship. When you become World Champion, you still apply to these rules. Now, let's get to those positions. White has king, rook, and a pawn. Black has king and a rook. Now, before I start showing the elementary positions, let me tell you this, that you have to be prepared to play this position for either side. And let's get white, who has an extra pawn. Let's get this pawn on a 6th rank. This is maybe the most common position you can get. Now here white has the pawn on g6, king on h6, rook on a7, black king g8.
Hi, I'm John Fanning, CEO of Multimedia Engineering Corp. I'm here today to introduce International Grandmaster Roman Djindjihashvili in a series of instructional chess videos. Before shifting his emphasis from playing to training, Roman was considered one of the top 10 chess players in the world. The chess training system that Multimedia has developed with Roman includes instructional chess videos and interactive chess software. How well does this system work? Well, I just finished a 6-game rated match with the USCF rated master. I won every game. We hope that you'll experience similar results. Thanks.
Hello. Today we're going to discuss accelerated Draken opening. Now, several times I got a question from my students and the people who bought my tape on Gingy Indian, and they say, what happens if our opponent does not allow Gingy Indian and plays d4, g6, and white plays e4? And we cannot get what we're going to do. So since I promise to build your opening repertoire for black, and I promised it in first of my Gingy Indian tape that I will do it. In the future tapes, we're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do now.
Hi, I'm John Fanning, CEO of Multimedia Engineering Corp. I'm here today to introduce International Grandmaster Roman Djindjihashvili in a series of instructional chess videos. Before shifting his emphasis from playing to training, Roman was considered one of the top 10 chess players in the world. The chess training system that Multimedia has developed with Roman includes instructional chess videos and interactive chess software. How well does this system work? Well, I just finished a 6-game rated match with the USCF rated master. I won every game. We hope that you'll experience similar results. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Roman Djindjihashvili. I am International Grandmaster. It's Djindjihashvili. I know it's difficult, but I'm not here to teach you how to pronounce my name. I'll teach you something much easier, how to play one very interesting opening, which I call myself, let's call it Roman opening. You can call it, you can put your own tag on it, so according to what your name is. So this opening is for black, d4, g6, and of course we know that white can continue here with move e4, or much more common is c4. c4 is more common than e4 because whoever plays you d4, he wants to play the closed opening, closed. So that's why they continue with d4 followed by c4, anticipating king's Indian or something like that. So after c4, bishop g7. Again, most common move is knight c3. This is the move you should be expecting maybe 90% of the time. other moves here are e4 or knight f3. And again, on e4, black has variety of continuations. They can go with d6 followed by knight c6, but we cannot cover now all these continuations. We probably will cover it in parts 2, 3, or 4. But what we want to do here, we want to go with the main move, knight c3. And now black plays c5, which automatically gives us almost new opening. No matter what white does here, black has, I think, very interesting game. Very interesting and position I personally like very much. I played it a number of times, and I had very good result, maybe 80% I scored against very good players. So let's see what white's options are here. White can play d5, the most common move. D takes c, move that I do not recommend for white. Knight f3, which gives black very comfortable position. And e3, that does not create any problems for black. Well, before we get to the main move d5, this is the main continuation for white. Let's cover briefly other continuations, such as topic of our lecture here is going to be one of old openings with some brand new ideas in it. We're going to be discussing two knights opening, two knights defense. The position I'm talking about is very well known in theory, and almost every theoretical book mentions this position and has it analyzed thoroughly. But they all come to the same conclusion, that black has good position, black has equal position. And I do not agree with it. And I have my ideas in there, and I've played many games, and I strongly believe that white has some advantage in every variation, and I have new ideas to prove, some variations to prove it. Okay, we're talking about this position. Actually, this position we can start from. Now, if black plays bishop c5, this is not two knights defense. This is Giuoco piano, and we're going to discuss it much later. So we start our analysis with the position of knight f6. And now white goes d4. Black plays e takes d. And I do not want to discuss the consequences of a castling. Instead, I play e5. And black has here three moves in this position, three moves that can be normally considered and that analyze.
Hi, my name is John Fanning. I'm CEO of Multimedia Engineering Corp. I'm here today to introduce International Grandmaster Roman Giuoco in a new series of instructional chess videos. Before we begin, I'd like to read a few excerpts from a letter we received from Barry G. Baldwin, a satisfied customer from Roman's first series. I recently had an opportunity to review 4 of Roman's tapes, which I found not only enjoyable, but from an educational standpoint, far better than any other learning medium I have studied to date. I began seriously studying chess in college, reading through dozens of books, and playing through literally thousands of games. Roman's videos were, for me, the best educational medium. They educate, they motivate, and they make learning fun. Roman's style is a no-nonsense, vigorous exposé of chess concepts, philosophies, and ideas. I took private lessons with Samuel Reshevsky for several years until he passed away. He recognized Roman's abilities and recommended him to me for future lessons. No higher recommendation did Roman need. I'm probably expert strength, and with these videos there is no doubt that I could become a strong master. Thank you, Roman, for sharing your great knowledge, your wit, and repartee. I look forward to future videos which will provide years of chess enjoyment and an increased understanding of the game. I'm sure that you'll enjoy these videos as much as Barry Baldwin. Thank you.
Hello. In a part 1 of Nimzo Indian defense, we talked about Hübner variation of Nimzo Indian and all possible surroundings, all possible continuations for white, all deviations. But we didn't stop. We did cover D4, knight F6, C4, E6, knight C3, bishop B4, the main Hübner variation. In the part 1 we also covered queen C2 variation. We covered knight F3 followed by G3 and also Leningrad variation. But white has a lot more varieties to play here, and black should be ready. We should be ready for them. They are not very difficult to learn. Basically what you learn here, not the move by move how it goes, but you should learn pattern, the ideas, and then even if you forgot concrete variation, it's going to be very easy to remember if you know the basic ideas. So let's start now with A3 move, so-called Zamish variation of Nimzo Indian defense. Don't mix it with Zamish in King's Indian. There is also Zamish in King's Indian. It's interesting that Zamish system in Nimzo Indian and in King's Indian, they have almost identical ideas to play F3 and E4 and try to get superior position in center. So what happens after white's A3?
Hi, my name is John Fanning. I'm CEO of Multimedia Engineering Corp. I'm here today to introduce International Grandmaster Roman Dzindzihashvili in a new series of instructional chess videos. Before we begin, I'd like to read a few excerpts from a letter we received from Barry G. Baldwin, a satisfied customer from Roman's first series. I recently had an opportunity to review 4 of Roman's tapes, which I found not only enjoyable, but from an educational standpoint, far better than any other learning medium I have studied to date. I began seriously studying chess in college, reading through dozens of books, and playing through literally thousands of games. Roman's videos were, for me, the best educational medium. They educate, they motivate, and they make learning fun. Roman's style is a no-nonsense, vigorous expose of chess concepts, philosophies, and ideas. I took private lessons with Samuel Reshevsky for several years until he passed away. He recognized Roman's abilities and recommended him to me for future lessons. No higher recommendation did Roman need. I'm probably expert strength, and with these videos there is no doubt that I could become a strong master. Thank you, Roman, for sharing your great knowledge, your wit, and repartee. I look forward to future videos which will provide years of chess enjoyment and an increased understanding of the game. I'm sure that you'll enjoy these videos as much as Barry Baldwin. Thank you.
Hello. I want to introduce you today to the easier way to play against queen pawn openings. What I mean by that, if white plays d4 and after knight f6, white does not continue with the second move c4, which will give us one of the openings that we analyze on different tapes. So white has here several different options. They can play bishop g5, which will create Trompovsky attack or Trompovsky opening, or they will try to play knight f3, which can lead to some kind of positions of queen's pawn opening, or they may try to play after knight f3 e3 and the c3 for Cole opening, or knight f3 and bishop e4 with London system. Now, we cannot get into detailed analysis of every one of these systems. We certainly don't have enough time and material for that, and also you don't want to have too much to study from. So what I would recommend is easy way through the opening. After d4, knight f6, let's start, for example, with Trompovsky attack.